What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, fluffy, freshly baked, amazing smoked brisket runza. Coming up. This is a brisket. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a big old brisket, USDA Prime. Picked this up at my local grocery store. And this one's a pretty good size. It's about 18 pounds, which is on the big side. Pretty thick, pretty tall, but we gotta get this thing trimmed up. Starting the way I always do, by removing this big hunk of decal fat on the back. Definitely don't wanna leave that on. It's not gonna render out too well, and it'll really mess up the most beautiful slices of your fatty brisket if you don't take it out. Boom, out we come. Cube this up for later use in sausage making, burgers, or render it down into some tallow. Beautiful stuff. Next up, we'll start cleaning up this backside a little bit of fat running on top and down the side here. Clean up these sharp edges. Tackle some of this silver skin on the underside. Just trying to make it a little more aerodynamic, make it look pretty, because a big chunk of brisket like this is not cheap, and I want to make sure it comes out as good as possible. Backside looking all right. We may revisit this after we're done, but flip it over, make sure it's sitting flat, and we'll take out this big chunk of fat in between the muscles here. Don't need that. And this point muscle is sitting really high, so we're definitely gonna want to take that down a pretty good amount. This part can be scary for some, but it'll all be worth it. And again, most of that is all fat. Start cleaning this up a little bit. And now we're just gonna start taking down this fat cap a little bit. Not too much excess on here, but just take it down a little bit. Chud scrape, looking pretty good. Now we gotta take out some of this meat. That's just a bunch of lean with not much of a good fat cap on it. It's gonna be really dry. And it's time to shape this thing up. Pretty good fat content for lean though. And now just the final shape. Round off that corner. And there we have it. Good looking brisket to me, trimmed up very nice. Good amount of fat cap on there. Underside's looking good, nice and clean. Good overall shape. So I think it's time to get this thing seasoned up. For our rub today, I'm gonna use some good old-fashioned Chuds BBQ SPG. This is what I put on all my briskets or beef ribs. Just salt, pepper, garlic powder. But it's really pepper heavy, meaning we can get a really good bark on this thing without over-salting this brisket. Not a big fan of binders, so we're just gonna go right on this brisket. Seems to stick just fine. And a nice heavy coating. Flip it over and do the top side. And of course, folks, we're not gonna forget the sides. That would be a rookie move. And that is looking pretty much perfect to me. Let's fire up the pit. Oh. And on the pit we go. Doing a very typical brisket cook today. Got a nice clean post oak fire going. Fat side up, fatty end towards the fire. And we're just gonna rock it pretty gentle at first, maybe around 250 for the first hour or two to get some really good smoke flavor on there. Then we'll probably bump it up to around 275. So we'll check back in a little bit. It's been, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 hours. I have not really been paying attention to the clock because we're cooking a brisket here. So I'm just going kind of by internal temp and bark and all that good stuff. But this thing is looking good. Feeling nice, feeling hot. Ow. But we got some beautiful bark on there. Fat is starting to render down a little bit. Rocking an internal right around 180. So now we're gonna give it the good old foil boat. Beautiful. Back on the pit this goes for probably another hour, maybe 2 hours, until it comes up to an internal of around 200, but more importantly is probing nice and tender, and we got even more bark and fat render and some smoky flavor. And just like that, off the pit we come, looking absolutely beautiful. Love that bark on there. Nice pillowy, crunchy bark from that foiled boat. Got some juices in there that'll keep the bottom nice and tender. So now I'm gonna pop this into my toaster oven overnight at 155 degrees to have a nice, long, slow rest, and we'll check back in tomorrow. Made it to the Chud shop. How's it going, Bones?
Pretty good. Nice day.
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Wonderful.
Oh, good. Brisket is still resting. It's in the warmer. Again, staying nice and toasty, but now it's time to bust out some dough for these runza, which starts out with some water, some milk, yeast, and some sugar. We're going with our egg as well. And get that all mixed up. Next up, in with our flour. This is just all-purpose flour. Ooh, yeah. And some kosher salt. Just let that come together into a nice shaggy little dough ball. And once that starts coming together, we'll start going in with our softened butter, just little by little. And now we're gonna let this knead for about 5 minutes. Ooh, that's a nice looking dough. nice and supple. Still a little sticky though. And now into a grease bowl this goes. Do double in size for the next hour or so. On today's episode of Bones Try Something Weird, what do we got, buddy?
Icelandic cod liver.
A lot of people requested that you try this. It's your favorite, right?
Yes, it's absolutely delicious. It's an acquired taste, but I think you'll get past that immediately after trying.
That looks like cat food.
Oh, good.
I eat cat food all the
Those are some
time.
nice boys right there. The good part is there's loads of omega-3 in this, so.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that's
Texture
liver, all right.
Really nice.
That's delicious.
Really?
The texture is a little weird.
Yeah,
But
it's really soft, but you know, it's got a fishy, but yet kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
it resembles like other fish that you've eaten, but the texture is
Yeah.
very soft.
it's very tuna-y, but it's more fishy, and it's just slimier. It's like not dry, but it's good.
You've always got the best descriptions.
I'm scared.
It's not bad. The texture is what really.
Yeah. Good.
So as I mentioned, today we're making Runza. And if you've never heard of a Runza before, it's a classic dish over in Nebraska. And basically it's kind of like a German birot or kind of like a Hot Pocket. Essentially it's typically ground beef, sauteed down with onions and cabbage or sauerkraut, seasoned up, rolled up into a dough and baked off. And you eat it kind of like a calzone or any other meat stuffed bread. But clearly I didn't feel like making ground beef today. So we're gonna make this one with brisket. And if I had the foresight, I probably would have made my own sauerkraut because that sounds really good as well. But today we're gonna keep it pretty simple by sauteing down some onions and some cabbage, mixing it in with some chopped brisket, rolling it up in that dough, baking it off, and seeing how it comes out. And I gotta give a shout out to Fernando Valentine. He has been commenting on every single video for at least a year saying just one word, Runza. So Fernando, this one's for you. So to start things off, I'm gonna melt down probably a little too much butter. Ooh. And once nicely melted, in we go with our onions. And once those have cooked down for just a little bit, starting to get translucent, I'm gonna go in with some of our cabbage here. This is gonna wilt down a lot, so I'm probably gonna go in a couple different stages. And I'm gonna hit that with a nice big fat pinch of salt and cook away. And after a few minutes of cooking down, this is what I'm left with. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want this to be too caramelized and dark because that'll make the onions be a lot sweeter, which I don't want. But I just want everything to be soft and broken down. And that's a full half head of cabbage and one whole onion. So I'm gonna let this cool down while we revisit our dough. After about an hour, this is what our dough is looking like, nice and poofy. So I'm gonna throw down a little more flour. And out it comes. Beep. Nice release. Beautiful looking dough, very nice and soft. Still a little sticky, but that's fine. Form this back up into a ball. I'm gonna weigh this out. 1,129 grams. And now I'm gonna divide this into 8 equal pieces, weighing roughly 140 grams each. Just like that. At this point, you can probably guess what we're gonna do next, which is just tuck all the seams underneath and give it a nice little roll just to make it into a cute little ball. Beautiful. We're gonna let these balls rest for about 10-15 to make sure that gluten is nicely relaxed so we can roll these out nice and thin while we check in on that brisket. So this has been resting for a very long time, wrapped it in plastic just to keep some moisture in and also so I didn't spill a bunch of tallow all over my car while I drove over here. And it's smelling really good. Oops. Trusty foil boat doing its job, feeling nice and tender. Ooh. Gotta love that. One more. Oops. Oh no. Looking juicy. Let's go ahead and slice on in. That looks pretty juicy to me. Gotta have you a slice of fatty. Because to be honest with you, I was gonna make a traditional Runza, but I don't think I've cooked a brisket yet this year. So it had to be done. Some nice juicy looking fatty. Love that bark on there. Gotta love a good slice of fatty. Get a couple center cuts as well. And to be totally honest with you guys, I think I overcooked this a little bit, getting a little shreddy on the bottom, which actually works out just fine because we're making chopped beef out of this. But first, need a little sneak peek. Oh, that it's rich. Gotta love a good brisket. Couple slices of fatty, going on the pile, and make some chopped beef. Ooh, little chunk of fatty.
Perfectly seasoned.
Oh, thank you.
I might have another.
Please do. Joe Yim, Joe Yim, Joe Yim, Joe Yim. Want some brisket, buddy?
I actually do.
Well, have at it.
That's good.
Got our cabbage and onion cooling down a little bit. Got all of our chopped brisket, and we're just gonna add them both together and mix them up. I thought about doing this in layers, you know, a layer of brisket or even a slice of brisket and then topping it with the cabbage, but I think this is a better way to go about it. Make each bite a little more even. And there it is, our brisket runza filling is done. And now it's finally time to get these things built. So I'm gonna grab one of these little dough balls here that all stuck together, that's fine. And we're essentially just gonna try and make this thing into a square. Looking good. We've been trying to build out the kitchen here at the Chud shop, but we still are missing a few things. And one of those things is a rolling pin. So I'm gonna bust out a bottle of spray oil. Again, trying for a rectangle, probably end up with an oval, but I think it'll be just fine. And just like that, all rolled out into a nice square. And this is where things might go sideways. We'll find out, because I'm a little worried that this mixture might be too juicy and fatty, and we'll sog up our dough here a little bit, but we gotta find out. So down we go with some of our filling here. Smells really good into a nice little log. That might be too much, we'll find out. And now I'm just gonna try and wrap this thing up. Got some water here just to make sure the dough sticks to itself. And fold it up. And as always, whenever I do something for the first time, it's probably not gonna go well, but that's why we got 8 chances. Just trying to shape this up. Oh, this is not looking good, folks. Yeah, maybe? All right, there we go. All right, onto this Silpat line baking sheet we go. And now we repeat. I'm gonna try and make it a little bit thicker of a dough this time around. Yeah, trusty rolling pin. I'm not good at making square things, I've learned. Oblong ovals though, all day long. Very nice dough to work with though, I'll tell you that. All right, looks pretty good. Brisket filling going down. Maybe a little more brisket. A little bit of water to close the seam. And we'll try and fold this up, making it look really pretty, right? A little better. And this dough is gonna puff up while we let it rise while we preheat the oven, so these will get a little bit fluffier, but that looks all right. And in my Runza research, I noticed that they don't have a very shiny dough on them, meaning they're not brushed down with eggs, which is why I'm not gonna do that either. Just like that. Looking pretty good. You ever heard of Runza before?
That's a big negative. What country is it from?
Nebraska.
Oh, how European. So you're saying we're going to Nebraska?
Coming up! Ooh, new technique, burrito style. My other concern is that the dough is gonna be a lot thicker on the bottom.
Oh, on this one for sure.
Oh, mine too.
I would hire you at Chipotle.
Beautiful. Should we make a cheesy one this time? Yeah.
I think so.
Got some pepper jack right, you know.
More cheese?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go burro style.
Just like they do in Nebraska.
Huh?
I like it. All right, to the oven. Upstairs apartment. I don't know if we've been in here before. Big ping pong table. But kitchen, this is where we bake stuff. So these have been proofing on the counter here for about 30 minutes or so. They're looking nice and puffy, and they got a little bigger than I was expecting, so they're definitely all gonna be connected by the time I pull these out of the oven. Kind of look like a hot dog bun or something, but you know what? I think it'll be just fine. So, oven, 375, in they go for probably 25, 30 minutes. Fresh out of the oven, looking pretty good. What do you think?
They look amazing. They really do.
No egg wash, no butter or anything fancy on these, and they look pretty similar to the picture. Huh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Pretty close. Those look a little more golden than these, but let them cool down and we'll try them out. Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be tough without getting all the filling out. Might have to cut these. Oh, there we go. That's the cheese-filled one. Ooh. These feel so soft and supple. Bottom, not sogged out. Surprising, happy about that. That might be the best looking one right there. Beautiful cook on that. But yeah, it's a good looking Runza. I kind of like that edge on it actually. All right, let's cut one open. Ooh hoo hoo, looking pretty good. A little lopsided on that dough there, but I'm okay with that. Chunks of brisket, it smells phenomenal. I mean, it's got that cabbage onion smell plus fresh bread and brisket. Yes, please. And there they are, folks, freshly baked, stuffed with smoked brisket, some cabbage, onions. I'm ready to try these out. All right, guys, I'm kind of excited for this one. It's kind of everything I'm all about. Freshly baked bread, smoking a brisket, and I'm gonna go for it. Dude, that is good. Meaty, freshly baked bread. I mean, I keep saying it, but like, you know what's in it. Better than the sum of its parts for sure, though. That bread is super soft. It's like an elevated chopped beef sandwich in a way. The onions and cabbage give it some nice, different sweet and bitter notes. Ow, that's phenomenal. It's like a brisket hot pocket. I like that. It's kind of like a kolache because it's super soft, but less sweet of a dough. Still very savory, but just so like fluffy and now I like it. You ever had a Runza before? You ever heard of Runza before?
Never heard of Runza,
From Nebraska.
except for the comments on your video.
Yeah, every time, every time.
Should I tear a new one open?
Tear a new one, cut one up, take a bite out of it like a hot dog.
So soft and fluffy.
Right?
Dude, it looks just like almost like a kolache type bun.
Yeah.
Nailed that brisket cooks.
I mean, the fact that everything held together, nothing leaked out, nothing oozed, nothing popped, it's not too soggy.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Great.
But still held its moisture.
Cabbage tastes like, in the best way possible, the onions on a White Castle burger.
Which is fitting.
it's good.
It does kind of have a fast food vibe to it, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Does it need a sauce is the real question.
Oh, fancy that.
Oh, look, a sauce.
Sauce.
What'd you put in here?
Some Duke's mayo, some Dijon mustard, a little snake bite.
Ooh, I like your style. Beep, beep. That's good. It's got a kick to it.
That's that snake bite.
The horseradish.
I mean, there is
right.
sriracha. There's also sriracha in there.
All right, let's break into this cheesy one, Aladdin style. That looks good. I think we could have used about 4 times as much cheese, though. Maybe mozzarella next time for the pull. That's phenomenal. It's like juicier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
cheese makes it.
shocker that something with cheese in it is better. The real question is, what should we Runzify next?
I think a chopped beef. That'd be really
But-
good. No, like, sorry, chopped cheese. Chopped cheese.
Yeah, that'd be good. We were talking a Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak.
Would be really good.
Buffalo chicken ranch.
Or Italian beef with a jus.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be great.
French dip style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This would be,
peppers, man.
yeah, dude. This would be perfect for a French dip. Just like the soakability.
Chardonnay in it.
Runza, man. Who knew?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Boys, clinkies. Oh, that's good. What do we got here? Lost Whiskey Club. Shout out Nick Chalky. Thanks for sending us
man.
these bottles. We got 2 of these little skinny guys. He's a barbecue whiskey guy, right?
Yeah. He works for Lost. He does barbecue with them too.
Always appreciate it. This is good.
It's really good.
And with this very last bite of Runza, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That's how to make some absolutely incredible smoky brisket runza. Or is it runzas? I'm not sure. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, that dough is really something else. Very light and fluffy. And the runza is just another great vessel for serving some meat and some barbecue. Also, big shout out to Omnivorous Adam here on YouTube. His video was very helpful when I was doing all my runza research. So be sure to go give him a follow. Tell him Chud sent you. And I really hope you give this recipe a try very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.